Greetings. Today's topic is Summon Reaper Juggernaut. Summon Reaper is one of the most unique minion skill gems. It conjures a very powerful Reaper that uses multiple different attacks. The minion has a 50% base chance to cause bleeding, and as the damage of this ailment has been substantially buffed for minions in 3.19, it will be the primary damage type used. Let's address the elephant in the room right away. The clear speed is really bad. The only source of your damage is one minion. This problem can be soothed by equipping Azaneth's Gentle Touch gloves to cause an on-death explosion, getting a Divergent Reaper skill gem, and upgrading your skeletons. When picking Juggernaut over other classes, you're granted the advantage of playing as one of the most durable ascendancies in the game. All the damage here comes from skill gems, some passives, and a bow. The vast majority of your resources can be dedicated to enhancing your own defenses. The build is very similar to the Agony Crawler Juggernaut. Both of these use a single minion to do the heavy lifting. The advantage of this version is the full control you have over your Reaper and the bleeding damage, which is harder to mitigate. Reaper is a skill designed to be the main damage dealer in any minion build, as it significantly cripples and consumes your other minions. We will include skeletons, not to cause any real damage, but to boost Reaper by granting him Feeding Frenzy and maiming his enemies. For defenses, the build utilizes very high maximum life, over 100k armor, elemental resistances at over 80%, untiring, unbreakable, unflinching, and unstoppable. You're able to reach an insane amount of life regeneration, 7 endurance charges, chaos resistance, and immunity to all elemental ailments. Clear speed is bad. Single target damage is great. It kills regular bosses with a single bleed instance. A lot of the items, unique and rare alike, are not very cheap. Some of them are outright expensive. The overall price is moderately high. The build does require some unique items. Devouring Diadem will be necessary for proper mana sustain. Replica Maloney's mechanism is great as it automatically fires ensnaring arrows while also granting a few extra sockets. Owl's Uprising can be used to cast Pride or Determination for free. These items are heavily recommended for the most optimal experience. Put your 3 most expensive mana reserving skills in the Devouring Diadem and link them with Enlighten, or if your efficiency is high enough, 4. It also switches your energy shield to apply to mana, which is undoubtedly essential to cast any skills. Use the replica version of Maloney's mechanism Quiver. It sets up a permanent Mirage Archer that shoots ensnaring arrows. The Brass Dome armor grants an enormous amount of armor, which is great with the Unbreakable Keystone, and also improves your maximum elemental resistance by up to 5%, which is a lot. It slightly lowers your maximum life. Use Azaneth's Gentle Touch gloves to curse opponents with temporal chains and to make them explode on death. Remember to extend your curse limit or give up vulnerability curse if you want to use them. The build needs at least 5 Ghastly Abyss jewels. Equip Darkness Enthroned Belt for more Abyss sockets. Ghastly jewels can be extremely powerful, especially the ones socketed here. Owl's Uprising. This is the amulet we'd recommend the most. It allows you to cast Pride or Determination with no cost whatsoever if you have the strength version of it. The other stats are mostly useful too. 4 rare jewels plus 1 Aminamu's Gaze will grant you plus 30% damage over time multiplier for your bleed damage. Definitely worth acquiring. The most valuable keystone you can allocate via pair of Forbidden Jewels is Indomitable Resolve for reduced damage taken with no downside. Valico is very good, Unrelenting is fine, and Defy Pain might be useful under specific circumstances. On your Watcher's Eye, look for Determination modifiers for extra durability, Malevolence modifiers for more damage, or Purity of Elements chaos resistance. To gain more damage, you will need to increase the gem level of Summon Reaper, and gain some minion DOT modifiers from Jewelry and Jewels. You should be able to apply 2 curses by anointing Whisper of Doom or a specific Hunter's prefix on a body armor. Try to gain an extra 50% chance to cause bleeding for your Reaper to make it 100%. The only important mods on a bow are improvements to minions' damage, the gem level of Summon Reaper, and socketed support gems. Some of them can be crafted. Use rare body armor for more maximum life, resistances, and armor. Remember that there are two very useful hunter prefixes, one for increased maximum life, and the other one that allows you to apply an extra curse. There are movement speed, resistances, attributes, armor, and maximum life to look for on your boots. It's also a great place to obtain more dexterity. Gloves are used only for the most basic defenses like maximum life and resistances, but you can also get some attributes here. Dexterity and intelligence will be important. You can use a rare amulet mainly to increase the gem level of Summon Reaper and gain attributes. Maximum life and resistances are also easily obtainable. Some of the rings introduced in patch 3.19 can offer very powerful improvements to boost your minion's survivability. It might be needed. Besides these mods, seek the ones for increased minions damage, and of course, attributes. You will need at least 5 ghastly jewels. These are abundant in minion modifiers which you should obviously strive for, but if you're missing attributes or resistances, you can get them here too. Large cluster jewel can be used to gain more jewel sockets and for minor bonuses to minions damage via small nodes or a selected few notables. We've used exclusively magic flasks. Life flask with instant life recovery on use. Quartz flask for phasing and spell suppression, basalt and granite flasks for more and increased armor, and a quicksilver flask of adrenaline for more movement speed. These should remove bleeding and other pesky ailments on use, and increase your armor. Reaper is the single most important minion. It uses a variety of attacks to cause bleeding. Use a high-level divergent version if you can. You can control it by using the ability while it's summoned to make it perform a dash attack. Link it with minion damage, brutality, empower, melee physical damage, and swift affliction support gems. This setup should be located in your bow with local gem level modifiers. Skeletons are your secondary minions that improve Reaper's performance. We heavily recommend the Vol version to keep opponents overwhelmed. It's useful during boss fights. Link them with Maim, Feeding Frenzy, and Culling Strike support gems. If you have another source of Maim, replace it with Bloodlust for damage or minion speed support gems. Socket the following auras in your Devouring Diadem. Determination grants an additional and increased armor. If you can cast it for free via Owl's Uprising, replace it with Pride in this setup. Use Purity of Elements for extra elemental resistances and immunity to all elemental ailments. Skitterbots chill and shock nearby opponents, increasing your damage. Link these 3 auras with Enlightened support for increased mana reservation efficiency. Malevolence creates an aura. Allies within its range deal more damage over time and have increased skill effect duration. Link it with Divine Blessing to make it a temporary aura that doesn't reserve any mana, Divergent Inspiration to reduce mana cost, and Generosity support gems for increased aura effect restricted only to your allies. In your replica Maloney's mechanism, socket the Ensnaring Arrow setup. Ensnaring Arrow applies a stackable debuff that reduces movement speed. You can apply up to 3 of these on a single enemy. Link it with Mirage Archer and Greater Multiple Projectile support gems. Enemies within the range of Pride receive more physical damage. This effect is doubled after 4 seconds of continuous exposure. If you have Owl's Uprising allowing you to cast this aura for free, you can link it with Arrogance. It will only increase the aura's effect with no side effects. While in Blood Stance caused by Flesh and Stone skill, nearby enemies are maimed and receive increased physical damage. Sand Stance protects you from enemies far away. You can use the Anomalous version for more armor. Your minions have increased accuracy rating, and nearby enemies take increased physical damage if you're carrying a war banner. Flame Dash is a simple movement ability you can use to teleport. It stores up to 3 charges. Molten Shell is a guard spell that prevents a portion of incoming damage. It's able to stop more damage the more armor you have. Vulnerability Curse should be cast automatically via Ring Affix for convenience. If you're also using Azenith's Gentle Touch gloves, be sure that you can apply 2 curses, or forfeit one of them. killing all 3 bandits for 2 additional skill points is the best option. These will be needed more than any other bonus offered to you by the bandits. For a major god, we've decided to pick the Soul of Aracali as this build's weak point is damage over time, which is especially prevalent lately. If you already have high maximum elemental and decent chaos resistance, go for the Soul of Gruthkul to take less physical damage from consecutive hits. The Soul of Yugal can be good too to protect you from curses. On the passive skill tree, aim for maximum life, defenses, and some minion damage. By taking all the extra maximum endurance charges, you can form an easy path for sovereignty and champion of the cause for more mana reservation efficiency. Prismatic Skin and Soul of Steel are great for maximum elemental resistances. For the minion nodes, pick Righteous Army, Redemption, Retribution, and Grave Pact if you have some points to spare. By picking Resolute Technique Keystone, you're guaranteed to land every ensnaring arrow. For minion offense mastery, pick the one that increases their area of effect. Get some more maximum life from maximum life masteries, the increased effect of auras from reservation mastery, and armor mastery for reduced cost of determination if you'd benefit from it. That is all you need to know about Summon Reaper Juggernaut. We'd be happy to see you subscribing to the channel or leaving a like here. See you soon.